Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have here. Gensler says we're all crooks, Russia's largest bank. Coinbase pushes back on a refusal here. You're going to want it. A Ripple loss. How could it affect the crypto space and Coinbase and Binance? You're going to want that too. We got Mr. I, the cool guy. We got XRP valuation models from $900 to $500,000. He sits down with Jimmy Valley and Molly Elmore. You're going to want it. We got Ripple partner news as well, and Medico partners up. And how about XRP-TA? How about somebody roll that beautiful intro?
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.15 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market is up 0.5%. Good morning, everybody. 26,600 plus for Bitcoin, 1844 and change for Ethereum. Tether market cap is 83.3 billion plus. Woo! 53 cents for XRP, strong like bull. Yeah, up 2.2% in the last 24 hours and 2.7 on the 7-day. Let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Upholds Topper, a new fiat to crypto on-ramp, is now integrated with the Zum wallet. This partnership offers a smooth, versatile way to purchase digital assets. Topper caters to a broad array of currencies. How about this? Uphold is excited to announce that Topper is now integrated with Zum Wallet. Hey, look, I mean, shout out to Weedsay winning the team. Shout out to Uphold. Shout out to Link2. By the way, this kind of growth is what I want to see. I'm also an Uphold shareholder, so I love that. And I get it on Link2, where you can get the best private equity opportunities. Yes, you have to be accredited, but I tell you, I'm going to be getting some more, and I know it runs out. Do not shut me out, because I wanted to get some chain analysis off of Link2, and that's gone right now too. So if you want to get Uphold, you better get it right now before it's gone or before I do. I can tell you that. Let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Link underneath the video. John Deaton here. He says, did Gary Gensler call Brian Armstrong, Jesse Powell, Brad Garlinghouse, Jeremy Allaire hucksters, fraudsters, and/or scam artists? He wouldn't give them a meeting because he was meeting multiple times with an actual fraudster and scam artist, I might add, named Sam Bankman-Fried. I love how he put SB fraud. Most likely cutting a regulatory capture deal. Gensler's a clown. You know what? He is. And here he is trying to push his narrative right here. You got to hear it for yourself.
Hucksters, fraudsters, scam artists, Ponzi schemes, the public being left in line at the bankruptcy courts. We've seen this story before.
Well, if I'll tell you the story we've seen before is the one where Gary Gensler himself turns a blind eye to the second largest Democratic donor, Sam Bankman-Fried, and nevertheless lets him have a broker-dealer's license on top of everything else. You know, if there's a scamster, a fraudster, and a huckster, and a scam artist in this space, I might be looking at him right now. Meantime, in the United States, Russia's largest bank, Sberbank, I never know how to say that, Sberbank will offer Bitcoin and crypto trading services. Meanwhile, in the United States, is apparently under siege by hucksters, fraudsters, and a scam artist. Or maybe it's just this guy. Has Coinbase grown a pair? We went over this yesterday, but Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has confirmed that the exchange will not shut down staking services. Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal revealed that the company had no plans to delist any tokens named in the SEC's complaint. Well, look, as Bill Morgan said, and we covered here yesterday, and shout out to him, legal analyst, you know, there's something else behind the delisting of XRP now, isn't it? Because now they're all of a sudden finding their stones. Now, how you find your stones and you're thumbing your nose at them now? Well, I tell you what, I've got a suspicion in me. It makes me wonder if Coinbase's stand against the SEC refusing to stop staking services is a legal game of chicken. Think of it for a moment. Coinbase is essentially an ERC-20 token listing factory off of the Ethereum network. Now, if you think ETHgate Hinman emails were something, just imagine what kind of emails Coinbase may have. Otherwise, why not just relist XRP? Pin drop, right? I don't want to drop my microphone. It costs too much. The SEC's argument against Coinbase and most of Binance's litigation will be severely weakened if Judge Torres ruled that XRP tokens purchased on the secondary marketplace are not securities. Judge, we'd love to hear from you. This here from Meta Lawman as he drills down on exactly what the implications could be and how high the stakes actually are for the SEC versus Ripple case for the whole crypto space as well as Coinbase and Binance. Shout out to Meta Lawman. I'm going to be sitting down with him soon. The stakes just keep getting higher for the ruling in the SEC versus Ripple. Here's why. If Judge Torres rules that XRP tokens trading on secondary markets are not securities, it would undermine the entire basis for the SEC's case against Coinbase and much of the Binance case. In the Coinbase case, the SEC claims that 13 tokens traded on Coinbase are securities. So Coinbase is illegally operating an unregistered securities exchange, broker-dealer, and clearing broker. But if those 13 tokens are judged not to be securities, the SEC has no case. Before anyone gets too excited, a ruling by Judge Torres would not be binding precedent in other cases. But listen to this, meaning other judges will not be bound to rule the same way. Only decisions of the courts of appeals and the Supreme Court are binding on lower court judges. But here's what's interesting. The Judge Reardon assigned to the Coinbase case recently is a brand new, only been a judge for 6 months. Judge Reardon works in the same court in Lower Manhattan with Judge Torres. So, while Torres' decision on XRP would not be a binding precedent, I do believe Judge Reardon will pay very close attention to Judge Torres' legal reasoning in ruling whether XRP is a security, and I believe Judge Reardon would follow the same reasoning as she analyzes whether 13 tokens cited in the Coinbase complaint are securities. This dynamic, of course, works both ways. If Judge Torres rules that the XRP tokens traded on the secondary market are securities, the SEC will jump for joy and argue that judge presiding over the Coinbase Binance cases should follow Judge Torres' reasoning. And a few caveats are in order here. The Binance case is not quite as simple because unlike Coinbase, it did issue its own token, BNB. So Binance will be hoping Judge Torres rules that Ripple's own issuance and sales of XRP do not qualify as securities offerings. And more caveats. With respect to Coinbase, the SEC could still argue that staking as a service qualifies as securities offering, even if Judge Reardon rules that the 13 listed tokens are not securities. But the rest of the SEC's case would be gutted. And final caveat, the judge within the same court do disagree with one another occasionally, but I believe Judge Reardon, with only 6 months on the job, is not likely to disagree with the legal reasoning of her experienced fellow judge in such an enormously consequential case. Bottom line, whichever way these early court rulings go, we should expect to see years of appeals. In the meantime, even more people in crypto have good reason to root for the big Ripple win. So it looks like the XRP army is finally getting some reinforcements. How about that? Shout out to Meta Lawman. You know, this is interesting. It's very interesting where we are right now. Now, I want you to hear this very quickly, too. This is Jake Travinsky right here from Blockchain Association talking about the scariest things people reach out to him about. Take a listen.
Scariest things out there. And the two things that always come up are the Ripple case, right? If Ripple loses and XRP is deemed a security is at the end of crypto in the United States. And second, what's going to happen to Coinbase? And I think a lot of people really believed there was going to be a day where the SEC was going to show up and say, Coinbase is illegal now. And then Coinbase would shut down all of its order books and we would all pack our bags and go back to TradFi or something like that. And I think people were sort of shocked to see that, like, this is business as usual until this case gets resolved. And this case is not going to get resolved for the next, I would say, at least 2 or 3 years, maybe much, much longer than that.
What's interesting is he, in that context, is he now talking about the Coinbase case going forward, or does he believe that the Ripple case will still be another 2 to 3 years? You guys know I've shared here that I happen to believe there's a great chance we could see a split decision from Judge Torres. I'd love to see an outright win, but I wouldn't be surprised, excuse me, to see a split decision. A split decision in a favorable way would be early sales being deemed as securities and, excuse me, secondary market sales not being securities, and everything from the creation of on-demand liquidity commercial use going forward from the time it was created and going forward into the future are also not securities, would mean that the Ripple could continue adoption around the world as well as begin mass adoption in the United States, and XRP holders in the retail market and secondary market would be free to continue to hold the token the way we have before, and I would at that point expect to see a wave of relisting on exchanges, which would be a breath of fresh air and liquidity injection to the exchanges because most of them have delisted, obviously, XRP, and there would be a great demand for it because it would be the only asset in this space with legal clarity. How about that for a notion? We could be days away. But here's a great little piece that came out last night. Now, I wasn't able to tune into this, and I wish I had, but I was just tied up and I wasn't able to get in there. But shout out to Mr. I, the cool guy here, for his second Troomers episode. And if this keeps on, this show is going to become a massive success because it's already headed that way. This is a little quick clip here with Jimmy Vallee and Molly Elmore speaking with Mr. I, and essentially going over the valuation and the comprehensive framework for fair market value analysis, evaluating multiple models of how XRP could have grown and go on to grow to become between a $900,000 to $500,000 a token in this world in its full-scale intended use. But for this particular part of the conversation, Jimmy Vallee highlights something extremely important that we've been talking about here for a very long time, for years, which is pre-allocation of XRP, which is absolutely legitimate and real, and the facts are not in dispute. Take a quick listen.
It's like line 82 or something in the SEC's complaint that they talk about.
Yes,
this was pre-allocation.
That's right.
Of the XRP. So that's a fact we know. And that's not been disputed. In fact, I think that's a core part of the SEC's argument that it was packaged as a security. And if you look at, we all know that there was an option contract. We know that Greg Kidd had an option contract. We know that R3 Corda had an option contract.
Confirmed.
And they went to litigation over that, and ultimately I think they unwound that. Those option contracts are securities, okay? Now, they are securities that were given to big accredited investors, right, like institutional investors. So they were bona fide private placements. They did not have to be registered, but they were other option contracts. An option contract is a security. So,
but that doesn't necessarily mean that the underlying asset is a security. And I don't think Jimmy, for a second, I know him very well, is expressing that either. He's just making the point about those contracts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any. Yeah, it's like obvious that there was pre-allocation.
Exactly.
What I think you're getting at, what you're wondering, and I don't know, but is the escrow already more or less spoken for, or is it going out, the 100, the 200 million or whatever actually goes out into the market? Is that basically going to a kind of already spoken for receiver? I think the Golden Eagle model looked at that issue. That was part of the Golden Eagle model analysis as well, that there was kind of this already going out to the people who are planning to use it concept.
Well, look, the facts are not in dispute. They absolutely did it. Brad Garlinghouse confirmed on Julia Chatterley's program on CNN years ago, back in 2019, 2020, that they absolutely do lock up XRP in options contracts. And you know what? It's a smart way to do business because it stays on the books until the other side exercises that option. And you can build in requirements that, hey, you can't just dump on the market. I think it's responsible the way they've approached it. So I don't think there's anything nefarious about understanding it and coming to the realization that they absolutely did business this way. Line 82 in the SEC complaint is very real. Flutterwave selects tokens.io for UK and EU A2A payments. How about that one? Collaboration enables Flutterwave to give its African e-commerce merchants enhanced access to the UK and the EU. By the way, Flutterwave is a Ripple partner, baby. Yeah, fitting Ripple blockchain into Flutterwave's core infrastructure for Africa payments. If you're not following Matthew Linai, why not? What's going on? Give the guy a follow. This guy too, Wrath of Common right here, who reminds us all, remember, we went over this. Matthew Linai shared this with us. Ripple bought Medico outright to bring it in-house for a custody solution for their large institutional clients. Well, Ripple's massive buy of Medico just partnered with digital asset customers. GFT, Medico and GFT can offer digital asset custody solution to an estimated 80% of the banking sector. Not bad. And it goes on to show you here, look at all these partners you can look at here. I'm not going to spend time, but you know, that's what's happening. That's the kind of stuff that's taking place here. And to build on that as a reminder here, that's what you hear here from Wrath of Common. Ripple Property Medico has partnered with GFT to provide a cost-effective and seamless path towards high customizable, enterprise, secure, efficient digital asset custody tokenized solutions. I mean, I know what it means to me to see all of this. I don't know what it means to others, but I'm sharing it because I know what it means to me. It is time, and they feel, I believe, that they're coming towards a decision that is going to be favorable for them to move forward. And I think at that point, after a positive decision, or whatever the decision is, I think you start to see some NDAs wear off on the other side of what Ripple's been doing for so many years. All right, so here we have it here. XRP 163 WMA. What we're talking about is the weighted moving average here from Eggrag Crypto. Shout out to him. Has unveiled a brand new chapter, leaving the bulls puzzled in their quest to conquer it for over 413 days. Behold, this week's candle holds immense potential as it could mark the first ever full body candle close above 163's weighted moving average since April 2022. The suspense builds up as we anticipate the answer, set to be revealed in the next 2 days. Keep watching, watchful eye on this captivating weekly candle close as it shapes, adds it to the intrigue here. And if you take a look at what he's talking about here, we come to a closer look at this, zooming in, and here's what he's looking at right here. And staying above that line is going to mean a bullish scenario. It doesn't mean a absolute outcome. Obviously, it just is an indicator, right? And boy, what a time to be watching all of this. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't normally promote the next video that I'm going to do for the day, but you're going to want to see that one too. There are some special events coming up, and they all line up on the same day. And boy, are they something to see when you see them all together. So make sure you tune into that one too. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.